Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot AI cast. We have got ourselves what should be a good one here today. It's going to be a bot I haven't cast in a while. If I've ever cast it, it's Alexa. And taking on Alexa is going to be MechaShark. Fitting to cast MechaShark, as I just did an interview with the author of MechaShark. And yes, it's a very cool Terran bot. Just as chatty as Sharkbot, I think. And so, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get too far into this one, make sure to go ahead, click that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below saying more bots if you want to see more of these goofy bot matches. And of course, subscribe. I think I already said that one. But yeah, we are getting an interesting build out of Alexa here, as it goes for a couple of proxy racks and then another SCV into the main. 3 total racks, number of SCVs 2, I take it from that build. Now, I wasn't sure if I was going to talk about this too much in this video. The author of Alexa also develops Princess Mecha. They have created some bots with a lot of very good functionality. However, the optimization might not necessarily be there in every case. For example, these proxy racks, I think, are later and in fewer numbers than they could have been. So maybe just some build inefficiencies going on here. We do, however, get 2 of the racks finished up. They are producing Marines, as MechaShark says. I'm going to pull a bunch of SCVs to try and shut this down. Now, this doesn't traditionally work against barracks rushes. As soon as a Marine pops out, though, the SCVs try to head on out of there. Never mind, they decide to go back for blood. So I don't know exactly what the plan is there, to retreat and then go back for battle. Yeah, that is not good at all, as MechaShark has got a lot of SCVs pulled off the line, and oh dear, they are all just trying to kill those racks. So Chi's response not working optimally here for MechaShark. It's got 5 SCVs left in total. It's got one. I think the only ones that haven't run to their death to join the battle are the ones that have been stuck building things. So the last of the SCVs are going to die there. And I guess my point is moot. Even if a build can be a little bit less efficient than it maybe could be, it can still win, particularly in bot games. MechaShark's like, just send the SCVs. Eventually that'll solve the problem. Yeah, not great though, as Alexa basically just needs to A-move and it will have won this game, I think. So I'm wondering what it's waiting for. Pardon me for not noticing this. There was a Reaper. I mean, I was kind of fairly distracted. There's a Reaper on the other side of the map by MechaShark doing work, shutting down the little bit of mining that Alexa has left. So we'll just see whether this Reaper can clutch the game or something like that, as Alexa is struggling hard. Its SCVs are spinning in circles frantically. And meanwhile, these poor, yeah, SCVs are just being shot back in the main base. The Reaper not quite targeting as well as it could. Seems like MechaShark always wants to keep this Reaper in motion to maybe just ensure that it's got higher survivability. I'm not too sure about that, so it's doing some interesting rounds. That is, yeah, not perfect for killing these workers, though. It is still picking some of them off. Alexa does eventually decide to attack on in. And yeah, I think Alexa probably has the victory in this game, but regardless of the result in this one, I am going to go back and review it a little bit more. Maybe just point out a few places that the build could have been a bit more efficient. And yes, the Reaper will kill the last mining SCV. There's still a mule mining. And then we just have Alexa slowly pushing up this ramp. There is a world in which maybe MechaShark lifts off all its buildings and we enter a very wacky base race. We've had some strange bot games lately. MechaShark, though, not able to make any more units. It's just in an SCV death loop, as is a fairly common thing. Maybe more so in Terran bots than the other bots, just because of how Terran builds structures. Yeah, and because Terran can repair. I think that's why we maybe see more SCVs die. Mecha Shark will be losing its factory, though. It's trying to repair it to keep it alive. The Reaper is working away on the command center, so we very well could have a draw in this game at this rate. Basically, all that needs to happen is the command center has to die, and Mecha Shark needs to lift off a building to safety. Whether that will happen, I do not know, as it's just repairing its command center that keeps flying back and forth right now. The CC's like, I'm going for it, maybe not. And meanwhile, the Reaper continues to shoot at this command center. I did not know what this game was going to be when I clicked on it, but it definitely is something. Most of Alexa's Marines are just chilling now, but there is 3 inside that main base that should be able to get the job done, although where are they going? One Marine is shooting. The others are just going back to hang out down here. This is a very derpy bot game. This command center will take forever to die, but eventually it will. So we're going to fast forward a little bit. Presumably Mecha Shark will drop another mule at some point. And then this Reaper is working away on the orbital command. Once it starts burning, it will die much, much quicker. And we actually get a random tech lab by Mecha Shark. I guess it got some mule money coming in there, but that's not going to help out. There is a world, maybe Mecha Shark gets out a Marine or something like that, or the Reaper comes home, as this command center will start burning soon. There it goes. There's the fire. And Alexa just attacking with 1 Marine. Man, oh man, what an interesting replay. The base races between bots really are fun, though, because they're just so chaotic. You never know what's going to happen in one of these games. I mean, of course, it's obvious what the bots should do, or maybe shouldn't be doing in these matches, but that's not the challenge of programming bots, is knowing what they should do. It's making them do what they should do. It looks like Mecha Shark will lose its command center, so I think it's pretty much done in this game. Where'd that one Reaper go? The Reaper's, it's actually just chilling back at home. And so unless Alexa eventually smartens up to actually attack, then I think we're just in a draw, dare I say? Like, Alexa knows what's there. Yeah, we will eventually have the conditions for a draw start at some point in this game. Alexa's scouting out, looking for things to kill, it seems, but it knows what to kill. And yeah, I think we have an honest-to-gosh draw. Oh, wait, Alexa actually does start killing things. I don't know what prompted it to wake up, but the final barracks is burning down, and that's it. Alexa wins. Holy cow, I was about to be like, oh, that's that. Yeah, it does eventually get the victory, though. It's a very interesting bot game, very body bot game. I did actually want to just touch on the opening here a little bit, though, because just right out the gate, little things that I noticed. For example, it builds 1 SCV, and then it builds a depot, and then it doesn't build another SCV. And then it doesn't send the workers out as quickly as possible. And just begins building up resources. So it's things like this that it's not the most efficient rush, because, for example, right now there could be 2 SCVs across pretty much all the way across the map building the barracks already. So the rush is maybe not as fine-tuned as it could be. Just something little that I wanted to touch on. Now, if you guys are still watching this video, make sure to stay tuned, because we're actually going to load into a very special replay. Well, I shouldn't say that, because then I sound like an arrogant ass. We're going to load into a me versus Changeling replay. I took it upon myself to play versus Changeling, and I'll load into that game now. Okay, here we are into our second game. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys want to see more human versus bot matches. If you guys play versus the bots and send me the replays, odds are I will cast them as well. And yeah, just very excited to have had the chance to play versus Changeling. For those of you that don't know, you too can play versus these bots with the ProBots application that is very handy dandy. It works incredibly well, and it's got a few bots baked into it, so you can play versus the top bots. And so, yeah, I had the pleasure of rolling random Zerg, as I figured Changeling is a random bot. I should play random too, do the honorable thing. And of course, Changeling gets its best race, whereas I rolled into mine. No big deal though. I did elect to go for an early spawning pool since it is ZVZ. I figured maybe I can abuse Changeling a little bit and say, hey, if it sees that I've gone for an early pool or something like that, it might overreact defensively, as bots sometimes do. And then we have got Changeling just doing its thing. Hatchery into spawning pool. Is there any chat tags? Nothing like that. Yeah. And then just, I do eventually go for an expansion. We can see through the incomes that, of course, Changeling's is higher than mine. Not massively higher, but a little bit higher due to that speed mining having some effect, which is one of the things bots do very well. The other thing that bots do very well is that they are asynchronous. So if the game gets a little hairy, Changeling will keep on macroing, whereas I will absolutely get distracted depending on how well I'm playing. I'm very out of my element when it comes to playing Zerg, but I think, yeah, you know, I can probably cook something up to deal with Changeling. My strategy in this game, I think, is to go for, yeah, just a few early lings, maybe just to hopefully slow down Changeling, and then into a very quick lair to try and get out a Spire so that I can maybe make use of mutas, since I know bots playing with air units is a little bit messy. My 2 lings that I do send out across the map are unfortunately not enough to make Changeling massively overreact. It's got everything it needs defensively and already has a 3rd base on the way. Notably due to the fact that Changeling doesn't mine any gas, whereas I'm committing to go for that much gas-heavier strategy, the classic 2-base muta. They try and shut down this scout, but Changeling does get into the main base and is able to get information. And yeah, another little thing, ladies and gentlemen, is that if you do have feedback on the audio for these videos, let me know. Audio is always a battle. I use my PC for playing games, for work, for school, you name it. And that means that my audio levels do sometimes get messed up, so I have to tweak things from time to time. And so yeah, if you ever notice that the volume's too loud, too low, let me know. I did elect to make this to like up the audio a little bit for this second half of the video, so let me know what you think. I did do some listening and it sounded like the game sounds were very quiet. I do notice that Changeling is consistently sending out scouting lings, very similar to Cannonana in this regard, and I'm like, hey, I'll just put some units on the ramp, because bots like Changeling have very good pathing when it comes to just like terrain, as we see these lings run in, but they do not have a good understanding of when there's units blocking the way. So I'm like, maybe I can get some free ling kills as the lings try and path up where they cannot go. And that does work a few times, so it gets me a few ling kills. Meanwhile, my Spire's on the way. I'm going to be able to make probably around like 6, 8 mutas. I actually can't remember at this point. It's been a few days since I played this game. But yeah, I'm just like, all right, let's start pumping out the mutas and hope that Changeling doesn't respond to air units very effectively. And my air units are quite quick, as Changeling doesn't have a lot in terms of units. It's only got queens, and there's no spore crawlers going up for the Zerg bot just yet. This is looking promising for me. Did the bot actually scout my Spire? It scouted the building Spire, but it hadn't reacted to make any air units. That's probably because, I guess, if you did program a bot, you can't just say, hey, this guy's got a Spire like a human player would, and assume they're going to go into the popular timing of the day. And that kind of means that bots tend to react based on when they actually see units. So Changeling is aware of my mutas. We see spores immediately go down. No reaction timing there. And I'm like, all right, I'll just use these mutas to kill off some overlords. In hindsight, maybe I should have just gone across the map to try and get some damage done, as my worker count is incredibly low right now compared to Changeling. That's the pain of the 2-base Spire, but I do manage to squeeze out a 3rd hatchery just to get my larva up, hopefully get some more drones going as I just keep pumping out these mutas. Meanwhile, Changeling takes a 4th base. It's getting up its own Spire, getting up a Hydra Den too. More Spore Crawlers going up as well. And I'm like, hey, maybe my mutas can get some queens. Let's do some fancy micro, if I micro at all, and I do. And I'm like, okay, maybe I can get this snowball going. So I get 2 queens out the gate. However, seeing as how it's Changeling, there is more queens. I pull back my mutas as well as I can, but my micro is not perfect. So I lose 2 mutas for 3 queens. Not a terrible trade. Make that 3 mutas for 3 queens. And I'm like, all right, so cost sunk fallacy. Let's go for it. I try and pull another muta back, but I'm too late. I'm like, okay, just keep on pumping out these mutas, and maybe I can make something good happen. While this is going on, though, there's some lings harassing at my 3rd base. Playing versus a bot like Changeling is a pain, so I actually pull my mutas back here to try and deal with just a handful of lings, which in hindsight is very, very silly. I also pull my Zerglings that have been blocking the scouts getting in, and then I'm like, oh man, this is gonna go bad really quick because I know how good the bots are at multitasking. I'm like, all right, Spine Crawler in each base, let's go. That'll let me focus on just microing my mutas to hopefully play against this Zerg. Changeling has got spores at all its bases. I begin trying to pick off drones wherever I can, though. I'm up to 11 mutas. There's only 3 Hydras for the Zerg out so far, and then I do see, hey, there is a Hydra Den there, but a Spore Crawler tucked nice and close to it. I'm just hoping to bait the Zerg into a bad fight. I pull my mutas back for a moment here. I really need to be trying to get as much damage done as possible, so I'm just trying to bounce between the bases. We see the immediate burrow. At some point, I'm like, hey, I need an Overseer to actually kill these drones while they're burrowed. Currently, it is 42 drones against 78, so I'm still behind in the economy. I managed to grab an Overlord. I do get the Overlord. I do lose a muta for it, though, so that's not great. A few exposed Hydras are nice pickoffs for me. This is exactly what you want when you play versus an opponent who is just trying to get into Hydras as a response to mutas, and I'm like, this could be pretty good. Changeling does not have much anti-air here. However, if we do take a look, the roach count is 25, so I'm like, oh man, I really hope this bot does not attack me and I can just keep it occupied with my mutas. I go in for some drones, trade a muta for some drones. Meanwhile, the Zerg bot has got more bases going up. I love that Changeling adds spores, extra spores around all its bases in a situation like this. My muta count is growing, but slower than it should be because I'm still only on 43 workers, just getting up these extra gases. And I'm like, okay, I gotta keep harassing, try and keep the Zerg supply down, because I do know how Changeling operates, and that is Changeling attacks once it hits 200 supply. I'm like, okay, kill this Spore Crawler, get the Hydra Den, shut down the Hydras, and then I should be able to potentially just win off the back of this. I engage the few Hydras that there are, and then I think I take on all these Queens too, which is quite nice. I'm keeping Changeling's supply down, and I'm just pumping out more and more mutas. As we can see on that production tab, I get the Hydralisk Den, so no more of those, and then my mutas can just keep going to town. Changeling is producing more queens, more hydras, more roaches. It doesn't, well, the hydras, it's not going to be able to make any more of those, and then I do get the roach warren, so production for the Zerg is effectively stifled until it gets these structures back online. But this is where trouble can arise, as the Zerg does eventually move out. It's got no hydras, barely any anti-air, and then there's 44 roaches crossing the map, and I'm like, uh-oh, this is not good. So I do try and just get damage done with my mutas, and all the roaches show up into my base. I'm like, man, oh man, I really hope these things turn around to deal with my mutas, which wouldn't make a lot of sense, but in hindsight, I'm like, uh-oh, this is not good. Do I attack? Do I go home to try and kill all these roaches with my 17 Mutalisk? I think I try and build some Spine Crawlers at some point in order to respond to this, but my natural goes down very quickly. This is +2 for the Zerg, and then my mutas are coming home. But even if I manage to clean up all these roaches, I know how good Changeling is at macro. It can just produce more and more of these roaches. It can rebuild hydras. This base is under attack. I'm building some Spine Crawlers to try and buy me time somehow, as my mutas do begin trying to clean up all of these roaches. I'm like, go away, go away, go away, leave me alone. But Changeling will not. It is just in attack mode. There's even some more hydras out in order to try and kill off my mutas, which is just another distraction. As we can see, the Zerg doesn't waste any more time and comes on in here to kill my final mining base. And yes, so believe it or not, I do lose my first game to Changeling. Nothing that I'm ashamed of. Changeling is a very darn good bot. I am not a Zerg player. And yeah, I have no choice but to GG out to the bot. So hope you guys enjoyed this show match, trying to take on Changeling. I encourage you guys to do so as well. The link to play the bots is in the description of every single one of my videos. And yeah, if you want to see more of this content, let me know. I know that it is something that's neat, but yeah, it's a bit different for the channel, me playing the bots myself. And yeah, just you'll probably have to have a rematch with Changeling at some point. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.